somewhere in between. It does have some needle, but in the theory, we don't want to put pressure on the needle. We don't want to create any hole by pushing method. But we would like to give heat into the dermis in order to stimulate the new collagen production. So with this particular fractional radiofrequency system, that it allows us to adjust the postulation as well. If you can adjust the postulation, it enables you to selectively heat up the skin level that you need. For example, if you would like to stay superficial, heat up the epidermis or superficial dermis only, you can use very short postulation and low power. But if you would like to induce both epidermal abrasion and dermal heating, you will need to use high power and longer postulation. So if you take a look at the application or the heating level that we can use as a guideline, if you were to treat some atrophic lesion, or if you would like to produce non-specific heating to the sebaceous gland to treat active acne, we prefer to use high power with long postulation. But if you would like to treat some condition which is very superficial, like treating some epidermal pigmentation, treating some stretch mark, or use it as a drug delivery system, you don't need to use too high of the power, and you also don't need to create too much of thermal collagen. So this is the basis of adjustment of postulation and power. So what kind of skin condition that I can use this fractional RF for? For now, we not only use it for treating atrophic acne scar, we can use it to treat stretch mark, especially the sphere alba. We can use it to treat rosacea. We can use it to even out the skin texture. We can use it to treat some superficial pigmentation that I will show you later. We can use it to treat a dilated pore or enlarged pore, some dyschromia, or treating some wrinkle. And we just finished, not finished, we just during a study that you doing
the sex, the age, the severity. One of the main key factors is where is the problem? Is it epidermis or dermis? So let's talk about radiofrequency. I will not repeat Professor Warren. So radiofrequency is not a new concept in the market. It has been used in a variety of medical applications, and for people who are less familiar with radiofrequency, we are talking about electrical current which actually force collisions between molecules and atoms. This is transformed into heat, and this heating has rejuvenation capability. It has many indications in aesthetic medicine. Professor Walton was mentioning part of it, and I'm going to talk about dermal remodeling. These are the references, and here I summarized for you all the RF proven effects. So we do know that it increases the production of transforming growth factor beta, and it increases the production of heteroprotein 47 for people who are more into cytokines. This will shift the skin into mainly the new collagen fibers, new elastic fibers, new HA, and this is not a short process. So we do the treatment, and then it takes a few months till the final result. But when talking about skin rejuvenation with radiofrequency, or in general radiofrequency, we are talking about dermal effect. So if we're talking about ablative, let's say fractional erbiumyad, this is mainly ablation, and this is mainly epidermal. So if we talk about radiofrequency, this is mainly dermal remodeling. So the effect on the epidermis is very, very mild. So if we have a very strong effect on the dermis, so we improve the skin quality of the dermis. But I talked and I explained before that if we are talking about skin quality and skin deterioration, there is the epidermis and the dermis. So what can we do if we want to improve the epidermis and the dermis at the same session? I will introduce you for the first time. This publication was accepted. It would be published in probably 2 months in the dermatological surgery. This is a new concept called radio beam. So we combine between fractional radio frequency and we top it with a superficial beam. In this study, we did it with TCA 20%. It was a prospective clinical comparison between 4 different treatment approaches performed at a daily basis at 4 Israeli centers. So we had 67 patients and they randomly assigned to one of the centers. One center did one treatment, the other one did another treatment, so 4 different approaches. You have the inclusion and the exclusion criteria elaborated here. The device mistake, we're talking about the Venus Viva, the fractional or the nanofractional bipolar radiofrequency. If again you're less familiar, we're talking about groups of electrodes. Every 4 electrodes serve as a group, and the current is moving from one group to the other. Those are the parameters that we use, and as you can see, while pressing or while touching the skin, the current will flow to the more conductive layer, and I'm talking about the dermis. So we will have zone of ablation, but very minor zone of ablation surrounded by zone of coagulation. This is the main effect, and you can see the histology. So those are the 4 approaches. It got rotated for some reason, so I hope you can see. But center A, they perform just radio frequency. The second site, they applied just TCA 20%. The third center, they did TCA 20%, and after the drying of the skin, they performed fractional radiofrequency treatment. In my center, we performed first the fractional radiofrequency, and then immediately we top it with TCA 20%. So 4 centers, 4 different approaches. The before and 6 months after photographs were presented to 2 non-involved evaluators, and they had to score the picture. They didn't know which patient did which treatment, and they had to say where was the best improvement. So you know probably the score, these are the guys. So 5 got worsened, no improvement, 3, 2, 1, 1. It's exceptional improvement. In addition, we asked our rater to look at the different parameters, to look at the pigmentation, to look at the erythema in blood vessels, laxity and wrinkling, and skin imperfection. In addition, we asked our patient to evaluate and to use the same score, of course, satisfaction rate, downtime, and any adverse effect. So the demographic, you can see the demographics here, and there is not a big change between the different groups, but I want you to look at the result, and actually this is quite important. If you look, and I remind you, lower the score, better the aesthetic outcome. This is guys 1, so this is physician 1, physician 2, this is the average, and this is the patient. You could see the orange color, so the combination of radio frequency followed by TCA 20% provided the best aesthetic outcome as compared to all the rest. It had significant, it was high significance. If you look at the higher score, so who got 2 and 1, again, the This is guys 1, 2, average patient. Again, the combination of radio frequency followed by TCA 20%, it gives us better aesthetic outcome. Again, this is interesting if you look at the different parameters. So I have to say that regarding redness and impairment of skin, so acne scar, for example, there was no difference between, or there was no significant difference between the modalities, but we're talking about pigmentation and more, and furthermore, laxity, the combination of radio frequency followed by TCA, it gave us better results. So the question is, why? Who cares if you do TCA followed by fractional radio frequency or the other way around? Why it matters? So we took 2 female volunteers who were supposed to go through a facelift surgery. We chose 1 cellular square, so it was marked as 1, 2, 3, 4, and we performed the treatment. So just TCA 20%, fractional radio frequency, fractional followed by TCA, and TCA followed by radio frequency. And we sent it to histology. So if you don't do fractional radio frequency, you don't have any ulcer. So it looks quite, I would say, okay. No ulcer as you can see here. But let's look at the difference. If you do just fractional radio frequency, this is again the average, you can see this is the crater, this is the zone of coagulation. If you do TCA 20% followed by fractional radio frequency, you still will have a problem. It gets less deep, and actually we have a narrow crater. Weird, I will explain in a minute why. And if we do fractional radio frequency followed by TCA, it gets deeper and we have a wider crater. So maybe this is the reason we have a better aesthetic outcome. We try to explain why. So we measure the impedance. So this is the impedance of a normal skin. So while you do fractional radio frequency, this is the normal skin impedance. While doing TCA 20%, if you measure the impedance, there is a drop, 165, and it has correlation to the depth and the width of the crater. So talking about the conclusion of the study that is going to be published, we showed that if you first do TCA 20% followed by fractional radio frequency, you actually decrease the impedance of the skin, so the penetration will be more superficial. Maybe this is the reason you will have less effect. If you first do the fractional radio frequency and you top it immediately by superficial peel, in this case TCA 20%, you will have a deeper and wider effect. And maybe this is the reason for the better clinical overall result. The combination in general was well tolerated, but I have to tell you that if you do the combination, you have longer downtime. You can see the comparison between the normal radio frequency and the fractional radio frequency followed by TCA. This is 4.3 in average as compared to 2.1. There were not very, very severe adverse effects, so the adverse effects, they weren't very significant. Why it is important? I showed you a study of a combination of radio peel with TCA 20%. Now, we can use it as a concept to apply many medications. For example, if we are talking about acne patients, you can apply salicylic acid. So you can do radio frequency followed by salicylic acid. It will have synergistic effect. We know that fractional radio frequency, it dries the sebum, so it has some anti-acne effect. So if you add the salicylic acid, you will have better aesthetic outcome. If you have any pigmentation, you can use glycolic acid. So do first the radio frequency and then top it with glycolic acid. So it's a new concept that I think if you try it, and I have at least 2 years of experience in doing those combinations, so I really do it, and you will see a demonstration in a minute. We do the radio frequency treatment, then we apply a pill, many pills. You can see, I'm not sure, you can see the material from distance. So the material stays. This is the pill which stays into the crater, okay? And this is the reason you see. So it widens the effect, it deepens the effect, so it makes us more successful. Few examples, for example, acne scar, I usually inject diluted calcium hydroxyapatite followed by radio frequency, followed by chemical pill. In this case, it's glycolic acid 30%, but again, you can use it for every indication. Thank you very much.
Doctor, I would like to ask you one question. Because you have periods after, do you do the Viva first and then you do immediately after?
You will see it in a second.
Very good. Do you have what is the accident of post-inflammatory hypertension?
I didn't have, again, parameters of the device. So we have two tips. We have in this device we have the pulse electromagnetic field. This is a small tip that you can really apply to the neck area and to the face. It has a very nice tightening effect. But I'm going to demonstrate to you the nano-fractional technologies, the bipolar technology. So as you can see, there is a replaceable tip, so every patient gets a tip. We do not exchange the tip between patients, and you click it, and then it's inside. If you get closer, I think it will be very difficult to get closer, but there are 160 pins. Yeah. Maybe it will be easier with the glove. Okay, can you get closer? More closer. Okay, so you can see the pin. Again, it's too small. All right, so this is 160 pins. There are another tip which is 80 pins. The advantage of the 80 pins, as this is again a physical rule, that the distance between two electrodes is proportional to the depth of penetration. So it means that if you have 80 pins, it will penetrate more deeply. So it's a very, very good tip for acne scars. With that being said, you can even use this tip. So if you look at the device, can you get to the screen of the device? You can see this full pattern. So this is, when I have the full pattern, I will make all the 160 pins work. I can push the button and then it will become alternate. So again, I will have one pin that works, one pin that doesn't work, so it will get deeper. So you can play with the device. This is one of the devices in the market that you can really play with the setting, with the parameter. So let's look at the device on the screen. So you can shift between the two handpieces. This is the bipolar radio frequency, and if you want, okay, to use the pulsed electromagnetic field, so you can switch between the two handpieces. You have two settings, two main parameters. One is the voltage, and one is the pulse duration. I think Professor Wagner explained if we go higher with the energy and lower with the pulse duration, then we're becoming more ablative and less calculative. Mainly, we talked about it, that radio frequency is better for calculation. So most of my treatment, I do it with longer pulse duration, so it's between 15 to 30 milliseconds, and around between 200 and 240. Again, not in Asian skin, in fair skin. And I have to say that I nearly do not do drug delivery with radio frequency, but I do agree with you that if you want to do drug delivery, so then go higher and decrease the fast duration because you want to have less coagulation.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
The setting that you have mentioned is the setting that you lower it because you would like to do it with the pill.
Yeah.
If you were to do it alone, would you use higher setting?
So which indication?
For atrophic acne scar?
Yeah, so usually I will increase so I will still stay with 35 duration if the patient can tolerate it, and I will go higher with the energy. So I will get, most of my patients, they cannot tolerate 280, so usually 240, I'm trying to. Okay, and then I'm adjusting the parameter, but again, you are trying, the concept is we're trying to get as much energy as possible into the skin to remodel collagen fiber. So again, we can increase the energy and we can increase the fast duration. So this is the time we actually release the energy into the skin. What are your parameters?
Actually, I use even higher parameter. I go all the way up to 60 or to 65 with 30 milliseconds for treating ability atrophic acne scar.
And they can tolerate it?
Yeah, I even did 3 or 4 passes over the deep scar, and they tolerate very well without any post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation.
So I have to say that we do at least 2 passes as well, but I think I've never exceeded 250 because most of maybe the Israeli patients are more sensitive.
Let me share with you one of experience. I treated one guy with very deep atrophic acne scar, and on the second treatment, I think we did not put the numbing cream long enough, so he was very sensitive. So I lowered the energy on the second treatment visit to 220 and maybe 15 milliseconds. So when he come back 1 month after, he told me that with the higher setting on the first treatment, which is 260, give a better result than the...
Yeah, it's always. So this is the last button here is we have the repetition, so we can press it and then every 1 second you will have a shooting of energy. Now let's go to the patient because again, this is a very common patient that I think you see on a daily basis. So how old are you? 32. 32, and as you can see, the skin is not smooth. It has some pimples, some comedones. It's hyperactive skin. And when we look at such patient, she demonstrates all the pathophysiology or pathogenesis of acne. So I'm sure you all know that we're talking about acne. There are several factors to why people have acne. So of course there is hormonal effect which stimulates the sebum gland to produce more sebum. Okay, and I'm sure you know that there is the bacteria, the Propionibacterium acne, but we tend to forget that the beginning of all of it is abnormal keratinization. So while treating this patient, if I do not want to prescribe, let's say, isotretinoin, we can use radiofrequency in order to decrease the sebum production. And again, I will top it with a topical pill in order to kind of try, I won't say to fix, but I'm removing this plaque, this abnormal keratinization, and then you see that you normalize the keratinization and you decrease the sebum. After 2 to 3 treatments, there is a very, very good result. So which pill we can use? Okay, I actually gave you some names. Okay, so I told you glycolic acid, it's mainly for pigmentation, that's what I use. Salicylic acid, it's mainly for inflammatory lesion. But if you look at the literature, there are many studies regarding lactic acid. Lactic acid as an agent which corrects abnormal keratinization. So that's what I'm doing. It's a very easy treatment. You will see how I do it. So I do not do, so for example, if I go for rejuvenation, I will do a full bottle. But here, I just want to make channels and to dry the sebum and then to apply this topical pill. So that's what I'm doing. So this is alternate session. Okay, this is standby, ready. Okay, and we don't need, my energy will be 2, 15, and 15 milliseconds. Okay. And let's do the treatment. It's a very, very easy treatment. You don't have to press the skin. You just apply, okay, and you hear. This is one of the, I think, one of the advantages of this device, that you don't have to look at the device. You hear the sound. So again, I'm getting closer, okay? Can you hear that there is a beep, and then there are 2 beeps. So whenever you have 1 beep, the energy is delivered, and whenever you have 2 beeps, this is the timing in which you have to remove the handpiece and to go to your other side.
Ophia, may I make a little comment? It is good that you point out that we actually don't need to put pressure on the skin. We just gently touch the hairpiece on the skin. Because it happened to me that I got a patient who treated by another clinic here in Bangkok, while the doctor hit very hard and he induced atrophic scar on
No
the
need,
skin.
yeah, no need. It's really, you have to really just touch the skin very gently. That's it. It's very easy. You see, I'm just listening to the sound. It's nearly half cheek. You can see the redness in this area. You don't need more than 1 pass. And again, it depends on what I see. So for example, if I had a combination of acne scars and this clinical picture of active acne, so it would have changed my parameters. But here, this is just creating, let's call it a channel, and then I want to deepen the effect, and I showed you why by doing first fractional radiofrequency and then chemical peeling, why it is more successful. So we did 1 cheek, let's do the other cheek. Okay? In a score between 1 to 10, how painful is the treatment? No, so she's not objective. I can tell you because I do this treatment to myself. So this is not 1. So what do you want to say?
I think it should be about 5 to 6.
It's 4 or 5. 1, maybe she's unconscious. Okay? So we will check later, the vital sign. All right, so I'm just carrying on. You see, very easy. Do not press the skin. Just go over it. It's very classic. You can talk to your patient. You can tell some jokes.
So in average, how much time do you spend for treating a full face?
I have to tell the truth. I'm not the one who does this treatment. Okay?
Who does do it?
The nurse does it, but it takes her approximately altogether 10 minutes. One trick that I can teach you, I'm not sure it is allowed by the company, but because you have to press. So I'm just taking a plaster and I'm just, so then it is pressed all the time and you don't have to really press it all over again.
Actually, if you hold your finger there, you don't need to keep pressing it. Am I right?
You have to carry on pressing all the time.
No. It automatically runs. You need to press and to use that repetitive button.
It is a repetitive button.
Yeah.
But still you have to press it. You have to press it. Believe me, I tried everything, and I go to this primitive solution of a plaster.
No, I treat it myself. I never have my nurse treat.
All right, let's finish this side. Nearly done. Again, very classic treatment. Now, there was a discussion earlier regarding the treatment of erythematous macules and pigmented macules. Some dyschromia, we're talking about acne scars. So for example, with this patient, I usually use another system by Venus concept. This is the Versa. So there is an IPL with which I decrease the redness, and then with the same treatment, I do the radiofrequency in order to create the channels. Let's finish the forehead, and we're going to finish the treatment. Again, this is, now I'm talking, but generally speaking, I think you're talking to the patient 5 minutes, and it's done. It's very easy. It's not very painful. The downtime, if you do just radiofrequency, is really few days, but they can cover it with makeup the following days. And usually I do not allow makeup on the day of treatment. 2 to 3 treatment, you will have a major improvement of this problem, of this abnormal keratinization, of this, I would say, acne, comedonal, papular. It's not severe acne, but it's mild to moderate. Of course, you can combine it with other medications, topical antibiotics or oral antibiotics, but this is a very quick solution. So if you have a patient who's coming to you and she tells you, I have to look great in 1 month, so isotretinoin, if it will start working, and at the beginning there is actually worsening of the condition. Antibiotics, it takes much time till it really helps. This is kind of the magic. Okay? So again, I showed you a new concept, radio peeling. Fractional radio frequency followed by a chemical peel. You can choose whatever you want. Okay? Please look at the skin type. It's an Asian type. If it's a Caucasian skin type, look at the indication. So what is the problem? Okay? And then if you have the indication, you can really tailor a very, very nice treatment. I do it for atomic pigmentation with glycolic acid and mandelic acid with another. So again, I'm choosing the right pill for the right indication. Very, very nice result. Question?
Any question from the audience?
The Thai people are so shy. If you want to ask questions, we're going to be a session of Ask Me Everything. So come, even ask.
Go directly and ask Dr. Asi anything you like to ask.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.